You know, this is a poignant moment. I'm a father who has two children at about the age of Hussain. And I can tell you that the greatest fear of a parent is to lose a child. It's the greatest fear of any mother, of any father, of any brother or any sister. And so I can understand that you've been in a nightmare for the last few months, and a nightmare that you're going through now. I can identify with your tears. I can identify with your hurt, because it's a fear that I live with every single moment when my children are out of the house or when they're interacting somewhere. It's not a unique fear to me. It's a unique fear to every single mother, father, brother, sister, that our loved ones must never be put in that moment where their life is taken away. And so my heart goes to the mother and father, to the family more generally. I can identify with what you go through. I want to say this. I know we in SOAS cannot feel how you feel today. But I will say this, that we too have lost a son. We too in SOAS have lost a brother. And we too are in mourning today with you, to try and identify with your pain, to try and identify with your hurt. I have never met Hussain. I just joined in the beginning of this year. But I've spoken to colleagues. I've read about the story. And there truly can be no more tragic a story for the SOAS community than this story of Hussain and the story of this family. Hussain was young. He was a young man of integrity. He was a young man of promise. His family had hopes. They had dreams for him. And those hopes and dreams were cruelly snatched away. And when they were snatched away from him, they were snatched away from his mother. They were snatched away from his father and from his brothers and his sisters and his family. But they were snatched away from this community, this SOAS community. They were snatched away from British society. And they were snatched away from a world community. Because when a young man of 18 passes on, it's not only his mother or father that needs to mourn. It's not only his university community that needs to mourn. It's his society and the world needs to mourn. Because we collectively have been deprived of a life that has been cut too short. You know, I'm meant to introduce the mayor, Sadiq Khan, and we will beam his video in a moment. And he speaks about this. Scott spoke about the tragedy of inequality in our society and how people of color are in far greater proportion exposed to the inequities of life and to the violence of our society. And I think that that's absolutely true, and it's something that we need to address. But addressing inequality and addressing the inequities of our life cannot be done without addressing the security questions of our life. was killed by violence. And violence needs to be addressed because no possibility of an equitable life, of an equal life is possible without addressing the security dilemmas that are associated with it. I put this on the table because I come from a country where daily young people's lives are sacrificed. Young people lose their lives because of the inequities of our society, and that we need to collectively take seriously, as the Mayor does in his message, which you'll see in a minute, about how we need to take security seriously, and how we need to go beyond that to address the inequities of our social, our economic existence, so that people, young people, are not subjected to this in ever greater proportions. I want to speak to Hussain's mum and dad today. I want to say this. It is your right to honor Hussain's memory. And you have done an incredible job of it until now. And I promise you that the SOAS community will work with your family. This is one of our own. You're one of our own. Scott has spoken about how many of you have come to this school, to this institution. So we see you as one of our own. And I vow on behalf of this collective community to partner you in honoring his memory in all of its forms, in honoring his promise, and to let the world know that a life too young has been taken away. And so I want to again say, your pain is our pain. Your heart cries, as do ours. And we truly want to share your pain in this really poignant moment. And I think that with that we should allow the Mayor. I will say this about the Mayor. It's worth saying that this death has touched the highest levels of municipal government. It's reached the highest levels of our political leadership in this city. And if they are to do anything, it's to make sure that there isn't another Hussain, that other young people do not lose their lives, that other families do not go through the pain that the Chaudhry family is doing. If you want to honor his memory today, then municipal government, mayor, councillors, and the council will speak, need to heed that word. Let this not happen again.